emergency management leaders on the federal and state levels for assistance if it's deemed necessary. I want to thank the offices of Senator Marco Rubio, the White House, and Broward Sheriff's Office, all of whom contacted me personally to see if they could lend assistance for this emergency that we are now suffering through. We appreciate their concerns and outreach and has already concern from these governments, and we appreciate that. City facilities will be closed to the public today, as we will be focusing on emergency operations and recovery. There may be delays for trash pickup and the circuit, and Lauderdale Go shuttle services will also be delayed, as certain roads are impassable. Parking enforcement is suspended. This storm has highlighted the importance of continuing our municipal efforts to address climate resiliency and upgrade critical infrastructure. The city has been investing heavily in raising seawalls and improving stormwater and flood control systems in low-lying areas. As it happens, we are in the midst of a 5-year, $200 million plan to alleviate these vulnerabilities, focusing on our most flood-prone areas. We're installing more tidal control valves and drainage pipes, building new outfall connections and drainage structures, creating new catch basins, rebuilding swales, and constructing stormwater reserves. This represents the largest investment in city history in stormwater and flood control. This administration and this city commission is wholeheartedly committed to continuing and expanding this work. The city manager and his team are now available to answer any specific questions, and I thank you for your being here. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor Dean. People feel like this really caught everybody off guard, as I was in it myself, actually. And do you think that there could be any drainage? It didn't seem like the drainage was working really the way it should. I know this was unprecedented, but could this be possibly due to things like overdevelopment?
The development and stormwater are two separate issues altogether. What we're seeing here is a 1,000-year incident. No city could have planned for this. No weather forecasting service could have warned us of this. The point is that this city is continuing and committed to making sure that we are the most sustainable and resilient city in Florida. Let's face it. Fort Lauderdale is a flat city. It's sea level, perhaps in the highest areas is maybe 10 feet. And when you're surrounded by water, we're the Venice of America. We're going to continue to be challenged by water impact such as these. So development and stormwater drainage are two entirely different subjects. Thank you.
Mayor, when we're talking about people trying to get where they need to go, obviously there are some roads that are taking more precedent over others in terms of the amount of flooding that we're seeing. What are some of those areas that you guys are really focused on in terms of the main arteries that we're just not seeing that water receding the way maybe you want it to and you want it to?
So I will say this, I've driven around the city and there's not one area of the city that has not been impacted. Last night especially, there were roads, almost every part of the city has been impacted. This morning, driving around the city again, we find that a lot of the waters have receded, but there are certain areas that the water is just not draining as quickly. We anticipate that will eventually happen, but in the meantime, there are people whose living rooms got flooded. There are people who can't even walk out their front door because the water's up to their front door. And but that's the whole point of our program. The program to spend money on stormwater resiliency is part of a 5-year program that we're going to make sure that we move ahead quickly in trying to ensure the safety and well-being of our community.
So I know many of us obviously got this emergency alert. Some of them pretty alarming, saying, calling this life-threatening, saying to seek shelter. I'm not sure if someone can speak to this. I know, earlier we had you on the call saying that there may have been injuries to some folks. Do you know if there were any deaths or anything like that? I know we saw 2 minivans near Davie Boulevard and Southwest 9th Avenue. I'm not sure if we could speak to that at all.
Our fire chief is here. I don't think there were any deaths. There were just people who were challenged in their particular circumstances, trying to get out of the way, trying to ensure that that their families were together and that they were able to return home from work, from school, and from wherever they happened to be at the time that the storm really hit us in our community. But our hats off to the police and fire departments for their heroic efforts in pulling together not just their agencies, but collaborating with other local agencies, including the Broward Sheriff's Office, to ensure that we had all of our resources. The state offices providing airboats. I mean, driving down airboats in the middle of our streets, kind of a interesting phenomena. But the point is that this was a very rare event, and I think the city has responded heroically in trying to respond to everybody's needs. Any other questions?
I also saw that the Roman sewage treatment plant posted a notice saying that they were pumping treated effluents into the intercoastal. Do you know if there's an overflow of non-treated water going back into our environment at all?
There was a discharge from the treatment plant, but it was all treated water. Never was there ever untreated water discharged into the waterways.
Have you spoken with Governor DeSantis?
Governor DeSantis has not yet called. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm sure he's very interested in what's going on here, and we're happy to work with his office. In the meantime, the state agencies we've been working with them. The Fish and Wildlife Office has been working with us, so we appreciate that. I'm not sure the governor himself needs to be involved, but the state agencies have been very helpful in working with us to take on this challenge.
And you said somewhere there's been over 900 rescue calls. What do you have to say to people that are trapped in their homes, maybe in some places without power, with some of the safety that they need to make sure?
All right, so if somebody is in a really bad emergency, of course, dial 911. They're there to respond. If it's a situation that the city can correct that's not an emergency, then they can call our central number, which is 954-828-8000. That's 954-828-8000 for non-emergency situations. Otherwise, we will try to address everything that we can, neighborhood by neighborhood. Because our neighbors are the most important people in our community, and we need to make sure that folks can get in and out of their homes, that they can get to and from work, that their children are safe, and that their families are together. Yes, ma'am.
So I know that we're obviously here at Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Some official spots are open. The city hall is not open. I know it's flooded, from my understanding, there's no power. Do we have any estimate on that? And can you speak to what exactly happened there?
Well, what happened is that when the building was built, it was built with a basement, and all the mechanicals are in the basement. So our air conditioning system is out, our generators are out, so it's going to be some time before we're able to return to a functioning building.
Any update on the airport, when that'll be open again?
As you know, that's a county facility. I'm not sure what their plans are. I know that they're running some flights there, but I know quite a few flights have been canceled. Are we good? All right, thank you so much.